Here we got my Macy cherry tree. This is the one I planted a little while back in the video, and it's looking pretty darn good. Let me move around a little bit here. Yeah, it looks nice and stuff. Mr. Phillips out there wandering up by the cactus. I'll have to go get him in a minute. Now, let's go look over this way. Whoops. Now, here's one of my cherry trees also that I planted last year. Boy, did it wake up and come back. I'm really happy about that. Here's my little potatoes coming along. They're looking pretty good. Pretty good. Got a couple spots that didn't fill in well yet. I'll have to get some stuff on them. That's all right. And this is the other set of potatoes. They're growing all right too. I'll probably have to do a little work on these and get some other stuff in here. I need to get some sweet potatoes and add to this, because apparently they do really well out here. So far, haven't got a chance to that. Now, you big old troublemaker. You troublemaker cat. Well, here's Philip here, outside with me, doing stuff as always. He's my little buddy. Oops. Now over here we have my Bing cherry tree, and it's really doing well. I planted it last year. It was like the last one in stock, and it didn't look too good. And I was like, really want one, so that's the last one they had. No one else had any, so I got it. And down here, it really thickened up. It took off very well. And it put leaves on last year. It just took forever. But I'm real happy with how it's coming along. Let me go show you one of the other trees that surprised the heck out of me that I planted last year. Now here we've got my sunchokes. They're going bonkers. This other side over here, I was worried wasn't coming back. They're a different type. And well, they're coming back too. As you can see, some we got escapees. But now that we got a good establishment of them, I will be able to dig up a fair amount later and taste test. I'll report back on how that is. Let's go take a look at this tree. All right, here's a peach tree I put in last year and stuff. Ignore the stairs that I tore out and rebuilding. Haven't done much on yet. I know, I'm always short on time. Now what's crazy about this tree is it put a bazillion flowers on everything, and now I have peaches all over it. Blew my mind there would actually be peaches and stuff. It's like, hey, look what I'm happy to make for you. I was expecting to have to grow like a year, 2, maybe 3 before I'd actually get anything, but I have peaches coming. We'll get to see how big they are and see how they taste, but utterly flabbergasted that I would actually get anything off of this. And here's someone you haven't seen in a while. This is Philip. Usually he loves to be outside with me all the time when I'm doing all the gardening stuff and messing with everything like that. Very happy little kitty cat. He's just my little buddy all the time. Sometimes he doesn't like it when I'm picking him up, hauling him around everywhere. Kind of like, I want to stay in one place. Leave me alone. But generally, he just is very happy and a good companion. Always my little friend out doing stuff, or helping me dig in the holes, or going after my gardening tools. He's a silly little one. But you guys haven't seen him in a while, and I thought, I'll put him in the video too. Now, let me show you something else I got going. Oop. Well, the neighbor cats invading the area. Actually, they make really good defense of everything. Now this is what was called what's called a pink lady. Hadn't heard of this type of apple tree before. And I just put it in this year, and it's growing. And it's funny, it's got all these flowers, and I'm like, I wonder if it would actually make apples. That would be really weird. I have no idea. Just gonna water it like crazy. Hopefully it'll take off pretty well. Let me get back to the point of the video. We'll talk about other stuff. Well, everyone, hope you thought looking at the garden was kind of interesting. I went and got myself a selfie stick so I can kind of film, move around a bit. I don't really know what I'm doing with this, so bear with me. Please give me a little patience on this. It feels so weird. A lot of this stuff about this YouTube or online video making thing is pretty darn weird, but interesting at the same time. So I'm going to try to tell you my crazy thoughts for the moment, and keep an eye on Philip because he loves to get into trouble while we're outside. But he's a cat. It's his nature. Anyways, so you guys probably wondered sometimes, hey Reed, when are you going to get more of that 12-volt solar system? Well, let me tell you a story about that. So I was working on that and saying, let's do a lot of this from the average everyday person and stuff and make it real easy, really approachable. Like we'll get components from the auto parts store. We'll get some lead acid batteries out of Wal-Mart. Yeah, that was my mistake right there. Lead acid batteries from Wal-Mart. Now, the problem was I wanted to get 4 batteries so the whole system could store 2.7 kilowatt hours of electricity so we could have a micro solar system and show you what a lot of things this thing can do for real simple play and all that. Or if you want to electrify, say, a cabin or a shed or something like that, you could have an independent little electrical system that if something happened, hey, you can do something about it. And I'm still playing with the selfie stick trying to figure out if I'm in frame or not because I have no idea. Hopefully this isn't completely nuts. Feels like time to roll in the dirt. I'm going to have to pick stickers out of them all afternoon or evening. But anyways, so they had these batteries, these 12-volt lead acid batteries when I first started this in stock. I'm like, hey, great, bought 2 of them. Now I need 4. Like I said, I need 4 total. Well, then suddenly no one had them in stock. No Walmart. In like 120 something miles, 200 mile range, no one had them in stock. Occasionally you'd see them show up in the app, right? I'm like, oh, great. So you call the store. No, we can't hold it. Well, the app says it's there. We have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. So you place the order online through the app. It says, oh yeah, you can do that. Then the store calls you. Your order's canceled. Why not? We don't have it. Well, your app says you do. We don't have it. Okay, fine. And then, of course, you start asking Walmart, when are you going to get more? We don't know. Can you find out? No. Can you look into it all? No. Okay. Hey, this other store shows they have it in stock. Could you transfer here so I don't have to drive, 160 miles to go get it? No. Okay, so you call the store. Oh, we don't know. You'll have to come up here and look. Can't you go look on the shelf? No. I mean, golly. I mean, they're always gripey at Walmart, but they really, really do not want to help you. It's like they want to do their absolute best to just be completely unhelpful. It is so annoying. So unbelievably annoying. Well, now, suddenly, they have a whole bunch of batteries in several of the Walmarts nearby. And I actually got someone on the phone to answer. And I've been hunting for this for 6 months. 6 months! And finally, I guess the supply chain or whatever issues going on, they've got some more batteries for me. And so I call them, hey, you have them? Yeah. Okay, so I check the app. Nope, you can't order it anymore. What the hell? Call the store. Can you hold them? No, you got to get here and get them. I've been hunting these for 6 months. Is there anything you could just be nice and help me out? No. Oh, I just love these people. They're so nice. So I got to go up and go get those darn things. One problem is I've been working really, really hard. In fact, I don't know, I got like an hour and a half of sleep last night, and I've just been dead on my feet all day. There's no way I'm going to go drive on the highway with the nice lolling, rocking motion of the truck. The next thing you're going to see is a newspaper article about how Reed crashed his truck into some, underpass and died. Yeah, we're not doing that. So I'm not going. But I bet you, I tried to get up there this weekend, because there's no way I'm going to do it tomorrow or Friday because of everything else going on, that they're going to be all sold out. And part of the problem is lead acid batteries, you have to match them. You can't mix and match lead acid batteries. They do not like that. Lead acid batteries are picky little bastards. And I'm going to make a video detailing all the ins and outs of lead acid batteries and all the various configurations and go over lithium. I'm eventually going to buy, once we get further along, a couple little tiny nickel iron batteries to play with and stuff like that. Because I'm actually really interested in a big nickel iron battery setup for my own systems. Because I'm a solar nut. I've got a lot of solar. I've been putting it together for, I don't know, a decade. Yeah, I'm nuts. I need to show you guys also the big solar inverters and stuff I'm adding to it and then what I'm converting to. And yeah, lots and lots and lots of videos. There's never enough time in the day. But on to that. So that's the crazy adventures I got going on with Walmart. Tons and tons and tons of fun. Hey, Mr. Phillip. But anyways, let's talk about something else. I decided to sit down, take a little break here because, well, getting old. That's my excuse I use, and I'm sticking to it. Now, I'm a fairly opinionated guy. You guys might guess from a lot of things I talk about that, yeah, I will definitely have passions and opinions, and I'll gripe about things, talk about things, discuss things. That's how it is, right? And one of the things that often pisses me off to no end, I get so angry at some people, is the attitude, screw you, I've got mine. Now, you find this in the gun rights community where, like, you know, I don't really care if we get new bans and stuff like that because I got mine and they ain't taking it. I don't care if those other people out there can't get their own, but I've got mine. You find this in the prepper world, like, oh, you know, I got all these supplies together and all that. I may have done all this stuff like that, but the end is coming. Get ready. And if you don't have any supplies, screw you. You should have been ready. And they just started prepping. Where's the compassion, man? Where's the compassion? Well, you find a lot of people just seem to have the, no, I'm going to shoot everyone and bury their bodies and stack them high. Yeah, I don't exactly agree with that philosophy. In fact, those people are usually on my shoot list. If you're going to ask my opinion on that, I don't want much to do with them. I do have a bit of compassion and try to be a compassionate guy. But then, the other side where I really have issues with that is the people in the finance section that are now very well off. And I run into this a lot with the older generation. Baby boomers and older. I've had this discussion with them a lot. And it always amazes me how many people that when they started out getting going, their buying power was immensely better than other people. Now I'm Gen X. And I've been working my ass off for, well, 20-something years, 27. And, you know, I'm finally hitting it, what I say. Is, you know, everything's going to be paid for. Own my house free and clear. A lot more options open up. Everything else, I've got investments. I need to make a huge video on investments because I got lots of opinions about that. Because I think a lot of that stuff is just numbers on paper. Unless you get your hands on it, you don't really own it. But that's a different story. You know, and I'm still getting there. But it was hard. My buying power was significantly reduced. And then, of course, because of where I work and what I do, I interact with a lot of the younger generation. Been dealing with the millennials a lot. And it's like you saw, Andrew teaching him stuff and things like that. And then, of course, we got Gen Z. If you look at the chart of labor, what labor earns, their wages and everything else, it's been completely and totally flat. I mean, dead flat. You adjust that thing for inflation, it's barely moved. Now, I know, that sounds like a left-wing talking point because people get all rah, rah, rah. But if you're going to watch videos from me, you're going to find I go on the left, I go on the right, I go north, I go south, I go east, I go west. I'm a thinking guy. Alright? I don't sit on party line talking points. I think, I analyze, I look at stuff. And so you see a lot of these people, they're trying to get started, doing stuff and all that. And for them to get out on their own, buy a house, yeah, it's not really affordable. The number of people I've seen that have gotten their amazing jobs over in Silicon Valley, I know, you can already guess what I'm going to say, is they got, hey, look, I'm going to get started, so like that, and they're going to pay me $120,000 a year, and I'm going to go to San Francisco or Silicon Valley or places like that in California. They get there, then they try to go buy a house. They didn't realize what they were getting into. And they're like, Holy cow. I know so many people that are out there that they have 6 frickin' roommates and all of them are making over 6 figures. See, that's the perspective, is where you run into a lot of these issues, is people don't realize that, you know, that salary sounds great until you look at the relative cost of everything. And that's what we're dealing with, relative cost. Now, say you're out where I'm at, small town America. Stuff out here is reasonable priced, relatively, you know. Houses here, yeah, good house, nice house in town where people be a little bit in the city, where they enjoy stuff. Yeah, you can find something. It's maybe like 120 for a manufactured house. It's like that. Standard traditional stick-built house or brick, nice looking thing, and you're gonna get up to 250, 260. It's a fair amount of money. But then, what are the salaries like out here? Good top tier salary? Well, $65,000. Affording a house like that on a traditional mortgage, yeah, probably not working too well. And so, like, you look at my house, well, you're not looking at it, it's in the background. My house needs a severe coat of paint. I'm not showing it you right now until I get it painted. Back when I went to buy a house, which was around 2005, finally went and bought a house, got some land and stuff, and I was particular. I was already starting to think about all the prepping stuff and things like that, but it wasn't really prepping then. I was more into being independent and stuff like that. I was very particular. I didn't want to live any place with covenants or a homeowners association. I consider those anti-American institutions that are just crap. But that's a story. Because if you own your land, you should be allowed to do what you want. So I went looking around for land I could do what I want. I also wanted one where I could actually own all the mineral rights and everything like that. So I could actually get a water right and install a well. And so it took a while. But I also had another thing. I was going to make certain it wasn't very expensive. And so when I went to get a house in 2005, I ran into an interesting problem. A ton of banks said, we're not going to give you a loan. You know why? I asked for too little money. Can you imagine that being turned down for a bank loan because, quote, you want to borrow too little money? I wanted $60,000. That's all I wanted. The rest was going to be on me, and that's all I wanted was $60,000 a year, short-term mortgage. Well, most banks said, we don't lend unless it's at least a $100,000 loan. But you easily qualify for a $250,000 loan. You run a $250,000 loan out on 30 years traditional, that is a huge, ridiculous payment. And I wasn't making much money back then. It's like, I'm not going to bet on the future. Because that's, you know, if I'm a prepper type person, I'm not betting on the future. You know, I consider the future a little bit uncertain because I'm a prepper type. So I wanted to only pay basically what I knew things were like right now. I was not going to overspend, overbuy, and everything else. I wanted to buy exactly what was existing, fit in my budget right then. So I wanted a mortgage no more than $60,000. And I wanted a short term. So like that. And it turned out to be pretty hard to find. Now, there were 2 banks that actually were willing to do that, real happy to do that. One was USAA Bank, which I've had really good luck with. I like using them. And the other was Countrywide. And it was kind of surprising, but man, Countrywide put the pressure on. Don't you want an ARM? Don't you want this? No, traditional fixed rate. What? And so I've been, you know, paying on that. Patiently getting it paid off, and we're just about done. Real nice seeing all that come together. But let me tell you, it's funny is the number of times the banks say, hey, don't you want to refinance your house? You know, you're at a higher, older interest rate. You could refinance this, and you could be at a much lower rate. Well, then I have to pay all the closing costs. Then I got to pay the points if I'm buying points. Got to do all this other stuff, get appraisals, get all this other whack-a-mole, and then I'm resetting the clock partially. No. You run it out without paying in stuff like that. It's cheaper for me to just finish this task off and be done with it. Then I own everything free and clear. Doesn't matter. You know? And of course, some of the cars you see one of the cars I have, it's old as sin. Actually, I have several cars. I'm turning into a bit of a horrible redneck joke that you go cut your grass and you find a car, you might be a redneck. Yeah, keep cars too long. And some turn into projects because I'm like, hey, I wanted to figure something out on this. But that's a story for another time, and make some videos about that, and we can do some auto repair and engine rebuilding, stuff like that. I think those would make for fun videos. And figure Andrew might get some good experience from that, and see if I can get Eva involved too. I'm happy to show people these things. Now I've rambled all on this. Let me get back to the point I was trying to make here. And so with that labor curve being, the wages being completely flat, and when you see all these people picking on millennials, oh, they're trying to buy these tiny houses on trailers, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that, what is up with these crazy people? Well, they're tapped out. Their buying power is horrifically reduced. I mean, sure, when you say, hey, kid, you know, you don't need to buy those $200 sneakers, go buy cheap, easy shoes. Yeah, a lot of them, I know, go shop for shoes at Walmart. They do normal stuff like that. They have regular everyday clothes. They're not just throwing money out at weird random stuff. They're actually using money responsibly. But when they look to go buy a house, and they're looking at how much they're getting paid, and they're like, how am I going to afford this? And then you look at the average cost of a lot of things in cars, vehicles, and then look at our rising food costs. Like, how often do you guys remember it was real easy to find beef, ground beef on sale for like less than $1 a pound? It's hard finding something like that right now. That is a great sale. You see that, you go fill the freezer with it. In fact, I don't know when the last time I saw a sale that good. And actually, the area I'm at, it's kind of weird. It's a cheap area, but it's also really expensive on food. I've never completely understood this. There was a channel called like Life Goes North, I think that is, and they were showing their food prices up in Alaska. Now, Alaska's renowned for being expensive, right? Their food prices matched mine. I was like, what the holy heck's going on? So the cost of living here is a little high in certain ways. You need to really look at that. It's just kind of crazy seeing such a cost like that. But the thing is so when people that are in the, screw you, I got mine, you just gotta save, put stuff away, do all this other stuff like that, I think you're missing a really important point here. Is you had such an easier time, you should try to understand these people's perspective. I mean, these people are really having a heck of a time, and that's why you're seeing a huge push for socialism, for we need to redistribute the wealth and all that. When they're getting started right now, what you're seeing, they're looking at this saying, this is a rigged game. Sorry, I got a gnat in my face. Darn things. And they're just frankly pissed off. And when you look at it, I can understand their point of view. Now, one of the other groups of people I'm running into that definitely is also understanding this a lot more, older people on a fixed income. Had a lot of interesting talks with them, and they have really been feeling the squeeze in some ways. They really know how ugly it's been getting in spots. And they are really starting to understand a lot of the issues. Even though they got their house paid for, minimal expense in some ways, they're finding their money that they had on their fixed income set aside based on Social Security is barely covering their medical costs, or not at all. There's a lot of people that have no ability to cover their medical costs. So they're like, oh, crap. And they ended up having to lose their homes, move back in with their children because they can't afford anything anymore. What they'd planned for, set aside, planned in Social Security, their retirement plans, their pension, they're completely screwed. And so they are having a heck of a time, and they really get it as well. I went way off field with this one. I went all over the place, just randomly talking, ranting about things. But my point is, the main point I want to make here is that people are having a tough time. And just because you may have gotten real lucky, things worked out really well in your plans like that, remember to have compassion for other people when their plans came apart. Or for a lot of people when they were told by everyone, their parents, the system, all the people in school and all that, go to college, get saddled with all this debt, get started, all that other stuff, and then their wages are flat. Have a little compassion for them and realize what they're looking at is a really ugly side. And when everyone told them this is the way to success and it turns out not to be, think how mad they are. Think how upset they are. And that can really, really explain a lot of the turmoil we see going on and social upheaval that's coming. And I think we're actually on the cusp of some major social unrest and changes in the country. And if we don't get a handle on this and bring costs down or make things accessible to people, we are going to see a bit of a revolution start up. And the last thing we need is a French Revolution where anyone who's doing better is going march to the guillotine. You know what I mean? And see, it's all fine for people, for capitalism, and I'm a very, very big capitalist, for you to make success. It also means there's going to be failures and all that. But you can't have this huge, giant, rigged game where only a select few are going to make it up really well nowadays. Yeah. It really destroys the idea of the American dream that hard work, patience, carefully planning pays off when basically everyone's been funneled into a really, really ugly start. Well, anyways, that's my random point for this meandering random video, because I'm tired as heck and barely had an hour's sleep last night. But I hope people have some thoughts, comments, views, and you actually understand some of what the heck I'm talking about. I'm going to get this edited, posted, and put up, and then I'm going to take a nap. But this is Reed, rambling away for now, and I'm done. Take care, everyone. Talk to you later.